Hey, good morning, everybody. So this morning I'm gonna do it a little bit different. As many of you know, I've been moving into my house, so I'm just strictly on my laptop here. So I do not have my video on, but I do want to give a little bit of market insight, kind of what I see, where we're at, where we're going. I gave a lot of that on last Friday, and a lot of it played out. So I wanted to touch on that a little bit further. So, first, we'll just start off. I always like to do it anyways with the economic news. So, we can talk about that a little bit. We know we've had a lot of news that had came through, but let's look at Thursday here, just kind of see where we're at. So, ton of news on the euro side. Let's see. Today we got the PMI. Might get a little bit of movement here. It's actually expected to go down. And let's take a look at tomorrow. So tomorrow we got a lot coming in, but nothing three head on there. So let's just take a look at the actual charts and see what we got going. So the first thing for me, I wanted to kind of touch on is on this 1 hour. You can see, so back last Friday, somewhere around, I don't know, it was here. We had talked about, remember, we created these lines here. We had this upper and we had this upper. So I was thinking this pivot right here would be the biggest resistance. It did hit there perfectly on that. And the issue is we couldn't create a higher high here, right? So we did create our first lower high, not only 1, 2, but 3 times there. And you can kind of see that we had this 457.77 marked. So hope a lot of you guys got the play on there. I know it wasn't on, but all these marks still played out perfectly. If you go to the daily, you can see that 457.77 mark that we were talking about, where was right here. And so if you remember, we have tiers. So we talked about tier 1 here, and then we talked about the tier 2. And so you can see right there, we actually, on this candle here, we created a high of the 459.44, but we weren't quite able to reach this. Now, I was anticipating that we might break through this and get up to the 461, but then, as many of you have heard already, the credit rating of the U.S. actually is dropped, and so that immediately dropped the markets, right? So it did struggle to break this level once it got below it, though. The next level that I have here was the 454, and you can see that we had actually already broken through that yesterday. We had broken through it Friday here, and then Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday right here we also had broke down below to the 450, right? So the key level here that is interesting to me that I want you all to watch for is one on the daily. This is the 21 SMA, and we are now below that on the pre-market. So I want you to kind of pull back and look. The last time that we were below it was down here in the 410 range. We have not fallen below that since then, right? So that typically, if we close today in a still being below this, that's going to be a very bearish signal, that plus the credit rating. So you're going to want to try to stay on that put side. My recommendation is don't chase the candles on the scalping. Wait for some pushes north. So you're going to have some areas that will bounce. So if you go to the 1 hour chart, the first area that you want to watch is actually right where we are. So I'm going to put a line here. This is where we found support after breaking above. We found support and we pumped up this way. So you can see now, as of right now, even with the bad news, we're still only in a retest situation. We wicked 2 different times, and it's still holding, right? So now what's going to happen, what I would look for is be very careful taking a put on this right here, because we could easily break the 21 SMA and bounce back up for a retest of the 200, which is around 452.95. So I do want to point out on the 1 hour, though, we did get that death cross, and we have not had this death cross since we had a slight death cross here around 430, But I mean, look how far back, 414. I mean, these are crazy levels far away, right? So it's something to take very serious, having this death cross here, the 21 crossing the 200. So the way I'm going to look to play these is I want to see if this 21 is going to squeeze this area here. And so if I see a closed candle below 447 or so, then I'm looking to take that put, or if I want to, if I see a pump up and some loss of volume around 450 or 452, I'm cleared to take that put. However, if I see a burst of some green candles coming through, we break the 21 and we break the 200, then you're going to want to take calls. I would not take calls unless you get above this 200 on the 1 hour. I wouldn't. It's not safe. The next level of bounce I would caution you is going to be right on these peaks here. I would probably line the up about right there. So you see what has acted as once resistance will act as support. So somewhere around 444, 443.90 is the next level of bounce I'm anticipating. And so if we do break this by chance, then you're going to see us kind of create lower highs, lower lows, all the way down to that 444, possibly 443 level. So now those are kind of our horizontal markings that I have. So let's take a look at possible trend lines. So you can see these ones all lined up, but if you bring that up, it already actually broke that, right? So that's not going to really help me find where we would bounce from a low. So I just keep zooming out. You can kind of see we have some lows here, and you have this one here, so we can kind of see how that would line up. I would take this low, and we'll just kind of pull that like that. You could possibly pull it in. I'm going to pull it in and try to capture here. The reason why is, let me zoom in and show you. This way I'm grabbing this one, this wick, and this right here, right? And you can see it held pretty strong right there. So it kind of captures more of those points. And you can see this also lines up around there. So if we see a break and then we start to see it do this, this could be still a very bullish bounce, right? And it could be a trap move to try to trap some puts before it bounces back up. However, if we do see a break below this white line, that's wherein you really want to be concerned if you are in a call. So make sure you're setting your stop loss. I'm going to extend this out just a little bit further. There we go. A couple other things to point out temporarily is we do have some strong bullish divergence showing. We are in the green area. However, we do not have a green line on the 1 hour. We're actually red. In addition, I did not point out we had strong bearish divergence that was forming here, and we did flip red on that, right? So if it manages to stay below this 21 SMA and it keeps losing steam, that's when you're going to see the really big fall begin to happen, and we'll begin our descent. So again, I'm going to probably stay put. I just don't know that I'm going to take it right away. I kind of want to see how the market opens and see how that looks before I make that decision. Even if, let's say the market opens below here and it drops, I'm not going to chase that. I want to see where does it find support, let it gain its support, come back up, and then once you get that retest, right, that's when you want to enter that put. And trust your indicators, right? So if we go to the 1 hour on the indicators, if we go to the 1 hour here on the indicators, let's go ahead and turn on the Harmonic Tracker Pro first. You can see it actually did pretty well throughout these movements. And so you can see here, you got that short, you got that long, you caught the short, you caught the long on here. Even this short right here, you know, you're on the 1 hour, so that's 454 down to 451. That's plenty of move for you to make some money. And then we caught the long, and it is currently in a short, and it has not flipped long. So until that flips long, right, it may not be a safe time to take that long, because you can see each pump that it's had, it actually had called the long before the pump. Even right here, right? You can see pumped, pulled back. This one right here, it still was in that long there. And then you can see it did flip to a short for a nice little scalp back into that long. So, if you're not sure, you can always just kind of use this 1 hour as like a guidance, right? So if I'm on the Harmonic Tracker Pro, if I see a short, I'm only taking puts. So as I see it pump up, I'm going to take those puts down. Once I see a long, at that point, I might just stop out of my short and just flip to only taking calls, right? Or stop out of your put, because you can see it's pretty accurate on that too. And you can see when we do get that bullish divergence and it calls the long, I mean, this is 434 to 443. That's a big movement, right? So just keep an eye on that. But again, news always trumps everything, and the news right now is not good. So unless something spins to take off of that bear or the bearish news, then we're likely to see some more downside. You all know how I feel about it. If you look at here, I've been talking for some time about this gap fill that we have to have. If you go to the daily, like this, let me mute the harmonic. I love this. This is like my favorite indicator, but when I'm on my smaller screen, it just kind of takes up a lot. So you can see on the daily, right, we had our push here, we had our pullback, right, we had our kind of contracting bands here, we pumped up again, and we created that lower high right here. And so for us to have this big of a push north without any kind of a downside up this high is pretty surprising, right? So I would expect that we're probably going to see some downside somewhere to the effect of at least 431 or so, is what I'm anticipating with this news. And the reason why is, if you take where we are here, we basically rejected at a lower high from here. And this is, remember I was telling y'all, this is what I was concerned about, why I was not taking calls up there. I know some of you took some puts and did really well with it, so awesome job. But keep in mind, as we begin to descent, what was once resistance is likely to act as pretty good support. So unless the news is extremely devastating to blow us through that, you have to look at this as we have resistance and we have a support, right? So I'm gonna mark this one here, and then I'm gonna come up here and just kind of start deleting some of these upper ones as we begin our descent here. So we'll take that one down. I'm gonna take this one down too for now, and then we'll add that back if we need to. And then keep in mind, we drew this one a while ago, right? I'm actually gonna change this one to let's do a teal. And then I'm gonna change this one to a red. And then what that does is it is my lower and my upper support and resistance. I'm not really using green, so I guess I could change this one to green. That's fine. And then that way I know that's my upper, my lower, and then I'll use the whites for my kind of more localized trends there. So, but we have a huge gap to fill to get down to this 200 on the daily. And so, yeah, I mean, you can see here it did it, right? But I mean, that was also a bull run. And if you think about it, you still went from 393 all the way to 372. These are $20 pullbacks, and this one's even more, right? And so we have not really had any kind of pullback. I mean, this one right here is 443 to 431. This is probably the only pullback, I'd say. We did go from 449 or 59 to about 448 that we're at now. So somewhat of pullbacks there, but I still think that we have some more downside. I'm overall bullish still on the market, but I would like to see the retest on this daily. I'm gonna tell you right now, if we break through here and we begin our descent, I'm gonna anticipate this bounce right here at 431. And if you think about it, like, I'm gonna do an early call, but you kind of have a shoulder, you have a head, you get the bounce, get the shoulder for 442, come back down, test that, right? And think about that. That's gonna test it right around this 200. So depending on the news at that time, it could be a bait trap where people are playing the pattern. It bounces off the 200 and shoots back north, trapping a lot of puts. However, if we get this shoulder, head, shoulder, and it does break below this and stay below it, and it bounces here, does the retest, that fall is going to just be enormous. So that's kind of what I'm watching early, a little bit early to call that kind of stuff, but we'll see how that plays out. But again, I'm probably going to stay put today. It just depends, if we break above this line here, which is about 450.25, if we open the market with some crazy support and we hold support on that, then I might take some calls, right? But as long as I stay below this 21 SMA, I'm staying put only. I'm not taking any calls. That's just my plan. So I hope that helps y'all out when it comes to trading the SPY today. So I'm not going to go deep into the other stocks like I do normally because I'm not live on TikTok as well, and I'm not sure if anybody's trading these. If y'all are trading these specifically right now, let me know, and I have no problem posting my thoughts in the trading floor. Tomorrow, or at least by this weekend for sure, I will have my full office set up, and I'll be back to normal. I will not have the actual trading floor open as far as me. I think CK might be able to do it probably this week, but starting next week, Monday, I will be able to get back to opening that trading floor as well and trading for a few hours with you guys. Let's just take a look at the dollar and the VIX since we're not going to do the tech stocks. So the dollar, it's interesting to see. I have not looked at this while I've been moving. Y'all remember when we had our double bottom, we had the retest, and I said that we're likely to push here, and then it did have its first rejection, right, which played out perfectly, found some support, it broke through. Keep in mind, this is what I love, guys, about when you do some charting. I haven't even looked at this in a little bit. It broke through it, but remember what we always say, the retest is key. And notice how it retested it perfectly. Came up, retested our yellow line perfectly. I mean, I drew these. I mean, think about this. This is Monday. I haven't been doing these since last Friday, right? So it played out perfectly on the dollar. Came up. This line was a little bit short, but we did break this trend. And look, we're holding support, right? So one of the things that I talked about was if we can break this line and retest it, it's going to have a full reclaim of this side from that double bottom reversal. And that's where we're at, right? So it is going to be a tough road here because there's a lot of support there, a lot of resistance here. We'll likely get up to about here. It may struggle here and fall, or it may touch this. If we get into this area, 103.74, that's going to drop that like absolute crazy because you can see that it's done it a few times. And that's where I think we might get that bounce in the markets from the dollar. So you can see the the VIX is actually bearish. It just means that it's had too much. Apologize. It's got too much of a run north too fast, so that typically triggers this gap fill. Just means we might have some downside. But again, guys, news is not good right now. So we may have a little bit more downside right before we have upside. Or we may have a little bit of upside to balance this and then have a further downside, right? Because remember, it doesn't go in a straight line. We create higher highs, higher lows, and we create lower highs and lower lows depending the trend and the direction that we're going. So let's talk about crypto. I haven't even looked at crypto either. It's interesting to see. So I said we would get down to about 28.8. Looks like this was our low, 28.968. Looks like the lowest that we got. Oh, actually we got down, so we got pretty close, 28.927. Oh, we did get down there. Okay, I forgot I'm on the 2 minute. Let me go to the 1 hour just so I can actually see. This is the first time looking at it, guys, so you're getting my first look thoughts here. So our low looks like 28.8 exactly. Get out of here. Wow. You guys can look at my last couple huddles on Friday. That's where I said we're going to hit 28.8 and bounce, and it looks like we bounced all the way back to 30. It doesn't surprise me. I'm pretty sure I said it in the huddle, but 28.8 is just a really big support. And it did pump back up to here, which is, remember, what was once support acts as resistance. So that's just literally a gimme short right there. Let's talk about where we're gonna go from here. We did have a double touch here, bullish candle. That's probably likely what pushed that up. We did get a gap fill that called perfectly. All these gaps look like they've been filled. There is a gap fill up here north that needs to fill, so we might get a little bit of upside on the crypto. Potentially up to about 29.5, 29.8 retest possible. The key that I would look at on the 1 hour, guys, though, is, as y'all know, 200 EMA. As long as we're below this, I would be really careful taking your longs. You have the 21 SMA that is trying to break above. We'll probably get a push north to about 29.3, 29.4, something like that. And then that's the moment of truth if it's going to reject. But again, watch the 21 EMA and SMA. And again, let's see how the Harmonic Tracker Pro did on the 1 hour. So we had a 5.0 there. So it's been, look at this. It's been short literally on the 1 hour since here. And again, it doesn't mean take the shorts right away, right? It just means when you get these pump ups, like you would take that short, pump ups, you'd take the short, pump up, you'd take the short. So all those would have played out. Again, pump up, you take that short. So, let's zoom out here and see where's the bottom. So y'all know my call was that we would have that fall, that sideways trend, that fall, that sideways trend, and then that fall and that sideways trend. I think 28K is very possible. And I think if we get down to that level, we're going to get a really, really, really big bounce. Unless news can push it past it, and if it does, it's going to be really bad for crypto. Like we're dropping back down to 25 level, but I think we'll be okay somewhere around in this 28K level, somewhere in here. As far as Bitcoin, so let's talk about the ATA. So yesterday was a really good day. We had a call, we had a put, we had a call, we had a put, and that was our day. Played out perfectly. Today I'm kind of hesitant on what I want to do as far as the ATA goes. I may not start something right away. I know normally I do the settings right here. Let's take a look at let's do some more TA just by looking at this here. The reason why, guys, is as y'all know, I think we have further downside, so I want to kind of stay on that put side. Let's mute these so we can I want to stay on that put side, but we've also fallen a lot, right? So there could be a really good bounce here, and those big bounces is usually what hits those have that potential of hitting those stop losses. So let's see here. Yeah, see, I want to see if this support holds here. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set up both. So we're gonna go to I'm gonna set up the call. We're gonna do the parabolic SARS. So today's Thursday, so we have 0 day Thursday, 1 day Friday, 2 day Saturday, 3 day Sunday. So we have to do the 4 day for Monday, because we do not want to. I don't want to get caught up in the 1 day. Let me think here. Actually, 1 day might be all right because we're doing stop losses. I forgot, so we should be okay. I'm gonna set this up to not trade anything until 10. I want to give it a little more time, and then we're gonna stop again around 2. And we'll keep that window. This also gives me time to see how the market reacts on market open and make any adjustments if I deem that I need to as well. So we'll still run the same stop losses. We'll just move this to that date, and then 9:30. All right. And let's delete these alerts. And I'm just gonna do the same thing. We'll do the 1-day SPY. I'm gonna do parabolic SARs as well because I need it to be a little more picky until I determine we're in a higher or lower area of trend. So we'll still have that stop loss. 3, 8, 9, 30. That's just gonna stop the candle at 9:30, but it won't start trading right away. So, all right, and then let's set this one. And that's gonna be our day. I may make some adjustments, guys, depending on how the market opens with the news. So, and if we get a couple wins early, I may decide to stop that, right, just with the news that's going on. So, I hope that helps y'all out today. Only about a 20-minute here, but I wanted to give you guys some guidance as we jump into it. If you guys have any questions, like always, just reach out to me on the trading floor, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.